Welcome to a congregation of courage and a celebration of the indomitable human spirit. Today, I come before you not only as a spiritual mentor, an astrologer, a master life and purpose coach, and a cognitive behavioral therapist, but most importantly, as a fellow traveler on the journey of self-discovery and personal growth. Let's start with a moment of reflection, shall we? If you would, close your eyes for just a moment and think about a time you faced a challenge or a setback. Remember the feelings, the thoughts, the fear mixed with determination. What did that experience teach you? Now, open your eyes and carry that lesson with you as we explore the essence of growth together. The great 13th century poet and mystic Rumi said to us, "If you are irritated by every rub, how will you be polished?" Notice the profound simplicity in these words. The smoothest stones in a stream are those that have been tossed and turned, ground down and polished by the relentless flow of water. Likewise, our personal growth comes from resistance, from the very obstacles we often wish to avoid. I invite you to consider this. When you're facing life's abrasive moments, do you allow irritation to dominate your reaction? Or do you see an opportunity to be polished? Remember, irritation is a natural reaction, but transformation is a choice. Growth is uncomfortable. It's the opposite of our comfort zones. But let me remind you of the butterfly struggling to emerge from its chrysalis. Without that struggle, its wings would never gain the strength needed to fly. We must embrace our struggles as necessary for our metamorphosis. Failure, my friends, is not the blossoming of success. It is a vital component of it. Failure can indeed be embarrassing, but it is also a sign that you're pushing your boundaries. You're trialing, you're living. To fail is to learn, and to learn is to grow. In your moments of despair, can you find the courage to whisper to yourself, "This is growth"? Consider the great ones throughout history. They were not immune to the fear of failure. No human is. Yet they persevered. Why? Because their purpose, their why, was more important than any fear of judgment. When you believe in your why, when it resonates from the core of your being, no amount of ridicule, judgment, or failure can deter your path. Let us not just admire the great and their achievements. Let's unravel the secret to their resilience. I challenge you here today to look inward and ask yourself, what is my why? What is the purpose that fuels my passion, drives my determination, and gives meaning to my struggles? I want you to turn to the person next to you, no matter who they are. Don't be shy. Look them in the eye and share one thing that is part of your why. Just one thing. Do you feel that energy? That's the power of shared vulnerability, the cornerstone of true empowerment. Now think about the time when you've fallen, the moments you thought you couldn't stand another rub, another failure. Remember the faces of those who might have witnessed your fall? It's not easy, is it? But it is through revisiting those moments that we can reframe them. Instead of moments of humiliation, we start to see them as milestones of our persistence. What if I told you that being afraid of falling is like being afraid to breathe because you might choke? Breathe anyway. Fall anyway. The fall is temporary. The growth, eternal. As a cognitive behavioral therapist, I've seen firsthand how the stories we tell ourselves shape our lives. If we tell ourselves that a fall is a catastrophe, it becomes one. If we tell ourselves that a fall is an opportunity to learn, it transforms into a place of power. Let's adopt a new narrative today, one of courageous vulnerability, a narrative where each rub polishing us is a chapter of our victory, not our victimhood, where our scars are not reminders of our inadequacies, but proof of our will to persevere. They are the coating of our souls, the testament of what we've been through, what we have overcome. In the span of the next few minutes, I want to do something a little different. I want you to think of one moment of failure you faced. One that perhaps you haven't shared because it was too embarrassing. Hold that moment in your mind. Now, imagine that moment from an outsider's perspective, from the perspective of someone you admire. Imagine them seeing not a failure, but a magnificent attempt, a display of courage, an admirable leap towards growth. How does that make you feel? Take a deep breath and let your heart be filled with pride, not shame. It's this reframed perception that cognitive behavioral therapy endeavors to instill. The recognition that our thoughts, our beliefs, our patterns can be shifted towards the positive, towards healing and empowerment. As I close, remember that why we talked about earlier. I want you to hold on to it fiercely. Let that why be louder than any crowd. Let it be your anthem as you walk through the fire of ridicule and the storms of doubt. Every great has a legacy, not because they feared the fall, but because they dared the wind multiple times and finally took flight. Let's stand together, not just in our successes, but in our stumbles and falls. Let's commit to not just enduring the rubs, but eagerly embracing them, knowing each rub is a step closer to new heights, to a brilliance that only comes from the courage to be polished. Now go out there, get polished, and shine brightly for the world to see. Your journey is not just about you. It's a beacon for all those who watch and are inspired to start their own path of growth as a result of you.